Holy shit, you're awake!
Vivian said as I found myself back in the X-Team headquarters infirmary. What's going on? I asked frantically. Where is everybody? Did the Applejacks cuck blow everything up?
Everything is fine, Cullen. The rest of us made pretty quick work of those goons, and we destroyed the detonator. I don't think anybody figured out how to kill Happy Appy, though, because he kinda disappeared after it became clear that the fight was going our way. But yeah, Duncan and I were kinda worried because you were literally dead for a few hours.
Huh. I thought Ivar was at least in my corner, I said offhandedly.
Oh, he is. He just suggested that we let you walk it off, since it would be good training for you, but we didn't want to take any risks. Of course, Lance wanted to leave you there regardless. If we lose him, he kept saying. He really didn't think much about your chances and didn't want to waste time and resources. You know how he is.
And I'm very glad to have been proven wrong in this case, you should know, Lance said as he strolled into the room. It seems you have taken well to the serum, in addition to your training. Keep it up, and you might just change my expectations. With that, he walked away. Those are probably the kindest words I've ever heard coming from him, I said with pleasant surprise.
Really makes you want to try even harder to impress him now, right?
Vivian asked sarcastically. You know, despite your whole aesthetic and range of interests, that's uncharacteristically cynical of you, Viv, I said, hoping she might elaborate.
I'm just trying to make sure you know what you're getting into.
Viv, if you think I'm some ignorant simp who's uninitiated with the concept of negging, let me tell you.
Yeah, I'm sure you got it all figured out, Cullen, Vivian said with a dismissive wave of the hand. I just think you should know that Lance doesn't see you as a waste of space anymore. Now, you're an asset. Which sounds like a bit of an upgrade, but it should honestly terrify you more than anything.
Just when I thought the guy was warming up to me, huh? I asked, attempting to cut the tension that had built.
Warming up to people isn't something that Lance does, really. Trust me. Duncan does his best to keep him in line, but still. Watch your back, alright?
At this, I merely nodded, then understanding this to be a bit of a sticking point for Vivian. After about an hour or so of Vivian digging small bullet fragments out of my chest, I was finally permitted to return to my room, where I am as of now. As I write this, I can feel the quick pace of the cellular regeneration of my chest cavity. It likely goes without saying that I'm incredibly fucking beat. So I'm gonna go to bed now. I guess whoever winds up reading this will know how things shake out from here the next time I write. Either way, wherever you are, whoever you are, take care. The world is full of monsters. Take it from one of them. Lance Dillinger's Mission Report, September 11th, 2040. The mission to take down Happy Appy's operation resulted in total victory for my team, which I hope you'll be pleased to know. Mr. Rockwell displayed his typical rash but effective judgment as a leader, and Ivar was invaluable in the field as always. Ms. Foster displayed an impressive prowess with the mech suit, but the notion of sending her directly into battle is one that continues to inspire unease. She's far too valuable in her role as Overwatch, and I would be remiss to allow someone like Mr. McNamara to replace her. Speaking of our newest devil, McNamara displayed an impressive degree of intuition in battle before being neutralized. To my astonishment, he managed to survive a bullet that pierced his lung at near point-blank range. Of course, he has a ways to go, but he seems to have taken to the Cronenberg serum far better than any other candidate I've observed over the years. Mr. Rockwell has never been known for his wisdom where investments are concerned. Hell, the case could be made that this whole organization is just his way of coping with the sunk costs on his soul. But his work with Mr. McNamara appears to be paying off. In fact, when the young man imbibed the serum, I began to see what Duncan sees in him. The answer seems obvious in retrospect, but I suppose my preconceptions of the boy's nature clouded my judgment significantly. The thing Duncan sees in Cullen is, more than anything, himself. McNamara is haughty, unserious at all times, even in the face of death. And above all, he shares Duncan's inborn killer instinct. I've begun to suspect that Duncan is grooming McNamara for future command, which is an eventuality I will have to handle when the time comes. However, I see something else in the boy. Something that possesses a subtlety that I have no doubt is lost on the others. There's just something about his eyes, the look in them. Of course, I understand a lot of the time when people discuss these sorts of things, they fail to elaborate further, which only serves to make the observer seem foolish. So allow me to buck the trend. White, hot fire. That's what I see in Mr. McNamara's eyes. A quality that, if mentioned, he would doubtless be inclined to chalk up to his Gaelic heritage or some other such nonsense. The sort of fire of which I speak could be aptly described as a sort of chronic intensity. Obviously, when emotions and people run hot, one can usually tell based on a look they have in their eye. But that look of intensity typically recedes with the calming of emotions. This is not the case with Mr. McNamara. In his case, said intensity is omnipresent. After months of observation, I can say with certainty that I've never seen any sort of calmness or tranquility in his gaze. Only that white, hot fire. Strangely, it doesn't seem to matter what mood he's in. It's there when you'd expect it at times when he's excited or angry, but it's also there when he appears to be bored or tired. It doesn't seem to matter what mood the boy is in. His eyes are always burning, even when he has a flat affect otherwise. This, of course, has only become more apparent since the induction ritual. At first I dismissed my concern, believing that he would simply die before ever becoming eligible for the serum in the first place. When it became clear that he was on the trajectory to pass in a matter of a few months, I needed to enact the contingency plan I had in place. On the day leading up to Mr. McNamara's induction ritual, I fudged the numbers of his health records to reflect eligibility even though he hadn't quite hit the benchmark. I figured this would simply kill him before it was too late. Of course, I would have told the team after the fact and explained myself, and in time some of them might have forgiven me. But that's obviously a moot point now. Mr. McNamara and I are bonded in blood, and he is now as much a devil as myself. If you deem it important enough to know my feelings on the matter, I can say that I am earnestly fucking terrified. I will be monitoring this situation very carefully, but in the meantime, I should probably return to the more pressing matter of general intel gathering. I began this report by claiming victory, and that wasn't merely due to our having thwarted a terrorist attack. I also managed to procure an invaluable source of information from the field. Mr. Rockwell has a fairly explicit take-no-prisoners policy when it comes to the enemy. But what are we to do when we don't know how to kill the enemy? Surely if he ever discovers what I've done, Mr. Rockwell will understand that we shouldn't let anything go to waste. Not even a very, very bad apple.